Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. Beastie merch is live. Get yourself a book bag, get yourself a hoodie, get yourself some joggers. Heck, even get yourself a beanie over there. Beastie merch is live, it is raw, and it is hands down probably the best merch that we have currently. But you know what we do have currently right now? We do have the man, the myth, the legend, the peanut butter to my ladies, the pickles to my bananas, Mr. Brandon BC Combs. What's going on, BC?
I'm trying to figure out if you're running a radio show or if you're pregnant. I don't know what the hell's going on right now.
Working on number 3, so you never know.
Jeez, I'm crawl. You know what? I'm having a good night. It was a long day at work, but it's the week of Christmas, so you know we're having some fun. We're going to be headed out to Vermont next week to go see the kiddos. But I just watched the Raiders kick a field goal, last second field goal to beat the Browns tonight. So now, you know, that kind of put me over the edge a little bit.
That kind of put me under the weather.
Raiders. Yeah, I know you're pulling. You just don't like the Ravens. That's the only reason you're rooting for the Browns.
No, I like the Ravens.
Talk crap about Lamar,
but we will get into some more Lamar Jackson talk and the Ravens here after the first break here, Combs. But we do have an action-packed show for you guys tonight. We are going to talk about those Baltimore Ravens going for 2 again. What's up with that crap? We are going to talk about Mr. MVP himself, Aaron freaking Rodgers, and of course we're going to talk Titans. And Javier's 7-7 now. Miami Dolphins that are sitting at number 6, I believe, in the AFC wildcard hunt after everybody has marked them out. But guys, we are going to flip things around a little bit here, and we got our special guest, our Monday guest on for tonight, Mr. Kev from the Real Bottom Line. Kev, what's going on tonight, big guy?
Man, what's going on, fellas? You know, just very similar to what Combs said earlier. What Combs said earlier. It's been a long day at work, but we here. We made it. The dog is wild. And
I thought maybe you were going to say you're going to Vermont too. I didn't know.
Let's all go to Vermont. Why not?
Take a trip.
Only a 20-hour trip, right? Just to get some maple syrup.
16, 18 hours for me. It just depends on traffic.
Yeah, it just depends how much you're underneath 100 mile an hour, right? What it comes down to.
I'll catch a flight. I'll see you there.
Kev, you should come to Vegas with us in April for the draft.
Actually, honestly, it's funny that you say that because I think I'm already going to Vegas for the draft.
There you go.
My uncle is in Vegas, so I'm 100% down to set that up.
Yeah, we will definitely need to link up because here at Man Hour, we are giving away a trip to Vegas if you are a member of $5.99 or more. If you want to become a member, simply click on the join button. The $5.99 deal or higher will get you free entry into that Las Vegas trip. Now, Combs, we cannot guarantee them entry into the draft because it's a first come, first serve, but we'll get your flight paid for, and we'll get your hotel paid for. So really the only thing you got to really come up with is some food money and some gambling money. And if you want to go to the draft with us, follow along and we'll stand in line, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, we can't guarantee anything, but I can't even guarantee that I can go. Every time you talk about this thing, Michelle pops up in the chat and says hashtag Combs can't go.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell happened there. I'm going to have to take my damn ring back. That's what.
Okay, so
Combs will be there.
So guys, every Monday we do have the real Kevo on. So Kev, tell the people a little bit about your show before we get too carried away.
Yeah, so first thing about the show that people should know is it is on pause currently for a few reasons. But if you want to catch up on episodes, it's called The Bottom Line Podcast. It's about the real, the underlying tones in sports, right? The racism, the prejudice, all that stuff, the financial stuff. It's obviously not just about racism, but it's more than just, the Raiders just beat the Browns 16-14. Let's talk about it. It's about the stuff that a lot of people probably wouldn't think about on a daily basis. And we're talking real stuff. We don't really do the whole hot takes thing. So if that's what you're interested in, if you're actually interested in some fulfilling content, that's where you go, because it's different. It's not like everybody else.
Yeah, and that is exactly why we have you on Kev, is because we need some fulfilling content here on the Man Hour. So what do you want to discuss tonight?
So, well, it's interesting you guys said you guys are going to the Ravens next after the break, because I definitely wanted to talk about the Ravens, but not necessarily for the reason most people want to talk about the Ravens for. So, obviously, the elephant in the room is, why the hell do they continue to go for two? They don't seem to learn their lesson. But the thing I want to talk about is, Lamar Jackson. I know y'all. I know how you feel about Lamar Jackson.
No. You know how he feels about Lamar Jackson.
I'm talking to him specifically.
Yeah.
So I know Buck's feelings on Lamar Jackson, and I'm kind of with you in this regard. So all we heard when the Ravens were 8-4 or whatever it was, 8-5, whatever, that Lamar is the reason the Ravens are here. The defense is beat up. They got no weapons. Their running backs are beat up. They're getting guys like Devontae Freeman, Le'Veon Bell off the street, right? And Lamar is the only reason why they are where they are. But then we just watched Lamar Jackson put up a goose egg against the Browns before he got hurt, and Tyler Huntley come in here and give a spark and almost win that game. And then we watched Tyler Huntley lose to Green Bay Packers and your MVP, 31-30, because their coach doesn't understand the concept of just kicking the extra point. And I'm starting to wonder if it's really Lamar Jackson is why they're where they are, or if maybe we need to give the coaching a little bit more credit. Now again, it sounds contradictory, because we are kind of ragging on the coaches for not kicking field goals, but it's kind of, maybe we should stop giving Lamar Jackson so much love in the reason why they're where they are, and maybe we should start looking at some other things like the coaching.
Combs, I'll let you have the floor first on this.
I like what they have in a coaching staff. I don't like some of their play calling. It to me right now, it just seems like he's trying too hard, right? Like, you go for two last week against the Steelers to try to win a game, and you miss it. And then you come out this week and you go for two to try to win the game again, and you run the same damn play and you miss it again.
It wasn't the same play. It was a different formation.
It was the same exact play.
No, it wasn't.
The same exact play.
It had three tight ends and three wide
receivers. You ran Mark Andrews to the corner of the end zone and tried hitting him with a pass. It's the same damn play. And then everybody on the field knew where you're going with it. Everybody on the field. You might as well just have Matt Nagy calling your plays.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can see it coming.
Would have been successful.
But I am of the ilk that maybe this Huntley kid might be a better option. He's clearly a better passer. He's clearly a better passer than number 8. I mean, he's clearly got that down. He's just not a better football player, right? He's not a better football player than Lamar, but he is a better passer. So do I give the coaching staff a little bit more credit than I do? As your dog's tearing stuff up back there?
He's ripping right now.
But no, I just think that Lamar is one of those. He's one of those talents that the rest of the NFL is still trying to catch up to. They still haven't figured him out. Really? They're still trying to catch up to him. And Buck, you give me that look all you want, because the guy wins 10 to 12 games a year. And yes, he loses in the playoffs, but he still wins 10 to 12 games a year. So they're still clearly trying to catch up. But he's just one of those guys who's got so much talent that you wonder what happens once he harnesses it. What happens once he ages as a quarterback? He's only in what is his third year, fourth year,
fourth or fifth, isn't it?
Fourth year. So he's in his fourth year. He's still got a lot of growing to do. He's still on his rookie deal. The guy still has a lot of football to learn. He's still got a lot of things to learn. And I just am not sure that the coaching staff that they have in place knows how to harness that. So that's why I don't give so much credit to the coaching staff. So I give a little bit more credit to Lamar. I'm going to continue to give a little bit more credit to Lamar because I think that if you bring in a new coach, say you brought in a guy like an Eric Bieniemy, a guy who has shown that he can take a quarterback who's a mobile quarterback but knows how to throw. Maybe you could bring a guy like that in, and maybe he can harness Lamar, teach him how to be more, of a weapon like he had there in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. Maybe a guy like that can harness what Lamar is doing and show Lamar, hey, look, you're a weapon. You're a weapon, and you can be a weapon with your arm, but you're a weapon while your legs are moving. That's when Lamar's at his best, right? When he's throwing while he's on the run. And what they try to do with Lamar here in Baltimore is when they want him to throw the ball, they keep him in the pocket. They don't roll him out. They don't use him to his strengths. We saw that on that 2-point conversion. If Lamar's rolling out with Mark Andrews, he completes that pass because that pass doesn't go 3 feet to the right. He's throwing on the run. He's more accurate when he's on the run. He's more comfortable when he's on the run. So if you roll him out, that play probably converts and you probably beat the Steelers. So I don't exactly put too much on the coaching staff. I think they could do a better job. I also think that this coaching staff, if they have a guy like let's say Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that they feel a little bit more comfortable in their play calling as well because they've got a guy who can pass from the pocket. They don't got a guy who's as mobile as Lamar, and that's where this coaching staff's comfort zone is.
Okay. Combs, a guy lets you beat around the bush, #waffle a little bit here. So with that being said,
how did I waffle?
You waffled around because Lamar would have done good if he did this. Lamar didn't even play in that game. So we are speaking of the real bottom line here. We are looking past the stats. We are looking past the score. Okay. So first things first, let's start with that 2-point conversion play. You can say it was a good play call all you want. When you roll the pocket, that literally cuts down your passing view to a third of the field. So when you see that safety run from the hash straight to the goal line, acting like he knew the play, well, there's only one receiver when you roll out there. What are you going to do? So it was a terrible play call. So when you say that, if Lamar Jackson can just harness his energy and become a good quarterback, he's a great football player. It is 100% on the coaching staff. These whack-ass play calls that they have for him.
He is a good quarterback. What are you talking about? He's
is
an
not
MVP
a
quarterback.
good quarterback. He's a great athlete. He is a great athlete. A good quarterback, suspect at best, Combs. Because let's be honest. Because the coaching staff does not put Lamar Jackson in the positions to win the games. When you literally roll the pocket, that cuts down 2/3 of the field. Lamar Jackson isn't a good passer anyways. So when you roll the pocket and you cut it down to 1 or 2 receivers, it is easy to cover and it makes him look like dog shit. Let's just be flat out honest. He does not look good when he rolls the pocket. Yes, he is more comfortable because that's all they've done for the last 3 years, right? They're like, oh, let's use his athletic ability. Let's get him out of the pocket. Let's do this, and this. And then for you to say, let's bring Eric Bieniemy in, Harbaugh isn't going anywhere because of exactly what you said. The pure athletic ability, of Lamar Jackson has been giving them 8, 9, 10 wins every season. Hell, I think this is his lowest win outputage since being a starter. The reason why is because his coaching staff is failing Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has lost 4 of his last 7 starts, Combs. That is not all fall on him. Yes, you can say he doesn't have the weapons and like all that crap, which is perfectly fine. Very valid excuse, right? COVID is running rapid, IR, etc. But looking beyond the box score here, I am giving Lamar Jackson a pass. Yes, Michael Buckheischer is giving Lamar Jackson a pass because the coaching staff sucks over there. Flat out honest. They are terrible. Kev, what are your thoughts?
Pause a second. Hold on. First off, Combs, you sat here and you said Hundley might be a better option. And then turned to say, but I give Lamar Jackson more of the credit than the coaches. I'm confused because if there's another player who's a better option, then obviously the player we're talking about can't be doing. I mean, like, because I 100% agree. Like we talked about this before. I feel like he's a great football player, more so than a great like quarterback in the traditional sense of the word. But my entire point is, whether it's the play calling, every coach has questionable play calling when it don't work. When it works, nobody cares. When it don't work, that's when we question, right? When the decisions to go for two don't work, that's when we question. But if they make it and they win these two games, we don't give a damn. When you're hurt, like they are injury riddled, and you don't like the longer you're playing against a team you probably shouldn't be beating or competing with, the lower your chances get, which is why you see teams who are trash, like the Lions and stuff like that, go for fourth downs more, go for two more. Like they just go for the win because they're like, well, if we play for overtime and we just kind of even the playing field again, we're at a disadvantage. But again, you just mentioned it. He's 4-7 in his last. What'd you say?
Yeah,
he has not lost 4 out of his last 7 starts.
That's what you meant. 4 out of his last
yes,
7.
he has. Let's see here.
No, he has not.
He lost to the Browns, lost to the Steelers, beat the Browns, beat the Bears, lost to the Dolphins, beat the Vikings, lost to the Bengals. That's 4 losses and 3 wins. He has lost 4 of his last 7 starts.
There it is.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? He has lost 4 of his last 7 starts. It's cut and dry. Stats are there.
Did he start this week?
No, I didn't count the Packers game. Cincinnati Bengals lost. Minnesota Vikings win. 1-1. Dolphins lost. 2 losses. Bears, Browns. Steelers, Browns. 4 losses, 3 wins. He has lost 4 of his 7. 4 plus 3 is 7, Combs, right?
He's correct.
I'm looking.
He is correct. But anyways, so the point here is, again, I was told, they tried to convince me, they tried to convince all of us that Lamar Jackson is MVP and the Ravens are where they are because of Lamar Jackson. And I'm looking and I'm saying, it seems like the Ravens probably would be here with Tyler Huntley. Will they be better? I won't say they will or won't. Will they be worse? I won't. I'd be comfortable saying they wouldn't be worse because they don't look worse. Do they look worse? They don't look worse.
No, I actually tweeted and said that the Ravens look like a better team with Huntley in there. Like they are less predictable, right?
Mm-hmm. And what it really comes down to is where I think the coaching here lacks in the development of him and the fact that it feels like the flaws he had 3 years ago are the same flaws is the fact that these coaches have decided. Oh, my computer's about to die. This could get ugly quick. These coaches have decided that instead of developing him where he's weak, they're just going to.
As Kev freezes on us here. Okay, there he is. Are you with us?
He struggles to pass the ball, but he's really good at running the ball. So instead of developing him where he's weak and saying let's get him to the point where he can be a dynamic, not just a dynamic runner, but a dynamic passer as well. Instead of getting him there, they just said, well, he's really good at this. Let's just do this. And the problem is now it's been 3 years, going on 4 years, and they're still just doing this, and they haven't improved anywhere else, which is where, and I think Combs kind of alluded to this. They don't do things like to develop him. They do things to kind of work to his strengths, but the stuff like, hey, I need to see you improve. You got to remember his draft classes: Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and himself. That's the 5 in the first round. Sam Darnold doesn't play. Josh Rosen hasn't got, or Sam Darnold, sorry, Josh Rosen doesn't play because he hasn't gotten a chance. And Baker Mayfield's looking pretty damn sorry as well. So, but it is contract year. Come next year, I'm sure they picked up his option, and come next year, it's time to pay. And are we really? Yeah, he won an MVP because he had a crazy season where his touchdown ratio was through the roof. But are we really going to sit here and say, hey, we're better with him than we are with, again, is he actually the only reason? Especially, let's say we go Tyler Huntley, and just an example, and he makes plays, and we win games, and we're not as injured, and we're not as COVID riddled. Do we really need to pay Lamar all this money? And I'm just getting to the point where it's like, hey, maybe we need to stop talking so much. Like every time we talk about the Ravens' success, it's all Lamar, like it's nobody else. And the reality of it is, this team can clearly compete with or without Lamar. And the fact that they're able to compete without him tells us that they probably should be better than they were with him.
Combs, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll give you the 4 out of 7 just because when that Browns loss where he was where he had completed 100% of his passes before he got hurt, they did end up losing that game by 1. So I'll go ahead and give you that one. But look, Lamar is one of those guys who, again, he just doesn't, and that's why when you came back at me and said I just said that he was a better option, but I give more credit to Lamar, is because he's a better option for this coaching staff. Huntley is. He does more of what this coaching staff wants him to do than what Lamar Jackson does. I will never agree, and I will never go with Buck and say that Lamar Jackson is trash. I mean, that's an absurd take.
Okay.
You look at Lamar Jackson's stats.
Hang on 1 second there. So you were telling me that Huntley works better for the Baltimore Ravens, so therefore he's better than Lamar Jackson on the Baltimore Ravens.
He works better for the coaching staff,
which is therefore better on the Baltimore Ravens because that coaching staff isn't going anywhere, right?
Sure.
So what you're saying
I mean,
is,
you go for 2 again to try to win a damn game and miss the damn playoffs, you might be going somewhere.
If you do not roll the pocket, I bet you they get that 2-point conversion because if you look on the backside, there's 2 receivers wide open. But I digress on that. So let me ask you this question, Combs. I know where you were trying to go with this. Lamar Jackson is on a contract year this year. Do the Ravens sign Lamar Jackson to an extension, even though Huntley had that one game? This is his first start, right, for the Ravens, but he came in relief for the Browns, which they lost that game. Do they take a chance on a backup quarterback, or they go with Lamar Jackson still and give him the $155 million deal that he's probably going to get?
Do you want me to tell you what I think they're going to do or what they should do?
What do you think they should do?
What do I think they should do? I think that they should roll with Huntley and let Lamar go. The problem is if you let Lamar go, he could very well end up on one of your foes like the Cleveland Browns and come back and bite you in the ass with a coach that knows how to use them.
Kev?
I won't say Stefanski's that guy in Cleveland, but like the last thing the Ravens want to do is see Lamar in Pittsburgh with a team we know is going to be quarterback hungry.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
The blueprint to winning championships seems to be not to be paying your running back a lot of money and have a quarterback on a rookie deal. That window is now closing, or we're pretty much closed. But I don't think that Tyler Huntley necessarily is like the better option moving forward. The Lamar Jackson's just a little bit too good to just let him go without anything in return. Here's the issue. If Lamar Jackson says, hey, I want more than Josh Allen and less than Patrick Mahomes, we got a problem because he don't need to be making that much money. And that's where you're kind of like, dang, now
he's winning more games than Josh Allen.
He's winning more games than Josh Allen. Okay. Is he better than Josh Allen?
No.
I would say right now, I would say that, yes, he's worth more than Josh Allen. I would take him right now over Josh Allen, yes.
Okay.
I would.
Ryan Tannehill's winning more games than both of them. Is he better than Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
First of all, Ryan Tannehill's not winning games. That run game's winning games.
Is Ryan Tannehill? You tried to use winning, which is a team stat, by the way, to justify a specific player. So and that's something that you never do. I will never let anybody get away with that. Winning is a team stat. But if we want to play that game, we can play that game because Ryan Tannehill's won 10
No,
games.
I would not pay Ryan Tannehill more than I pay Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
But anyway, the point is, I feel like if word is, hey, like I said, he wants more than Allen and less than Mahomes because nobody's getting the Mahomes number, or maybe he wants more than Dak Prescott, whatever the case is. That's when you really got to determine if he's worth the money. Until you know that number, I don't know if we can really make that answer.
All right. Only time will tell because the offseason is coming very, very soon here. 3 regular season weekends left in the NFL season, pending COVID, obviously. But Kev, as always, thank you for joining us here, guys. Be sure to give him a follow at @therealkev_0 on Twitter. Any shout-outs before you go, Kev?
Man, shout out to you guys for letting me come on here every Monday. Combs, I ain't seen you in a while.
I know, man. I've been at volleyball.
Volleyball. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Cowboys. We 10-4. We out here. I'll see y'all next week.
All right, man. As always, thank you for joining us, man.
The who?
The Cowboys.
I don't know who that is.
How about them Cowboys? Super Bowl champions, baby. Rack it up.
Never heard of her.
All right, guys. We are up against the first break here. On the other side of the break, we are going to dive deeper into the Ravens talk here. Also, some Green Bay Packers. And then, of course, on hour number 2, we got Would You Rather, which is brought to you by Skull Candy headphones, guys. So be sure to click on the link in the description. Well, guys, we'll be right back after this break.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs tonight. We just had the Real Kev on. Be sure to follow him on Twitter at @therealkev_0 at Twitter, obviously, guys. And if you are new here, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Definitely hit that like button and show us with a couple friends as well. It looks like our bots are down tonight, so there is no poll or questions to be asked. But I'm going to ask you guys this question in the chat right now. Which AFC teams make the playoffs in your guys' opinions moving forward? It is a very bottleneck there. I think there's 12 or 13 teams that have at least 6 wins or more that are all in playoff competition. So guys, let us know in the AFC who makes the playoffs. So Combs, right before the break there with Kev, like we had some people in the chat, and you are our chat guy here. So what are some comments that you would like to address?
Well, I want to get to this one by Alpha Rob, who says no way Jackson is better than Allen. It isn't even close. And I don't know how you could say it's not even close. I mean, you look at these two quarterbacks, right? And Allen's quarterback record is 36-21-0. And Lamar Jackson's quarterback record is 37-12-0. So he's lost 9 less games than what Josh Allen has done. His touchdown percentage is a point higher actually than Josh Allen's. His interception ratio is lower than Josh Allen's. The amount of yards he's thrown for, they've played the same amount of seasons. Looking here, what is it? So we've got Lamar Jackson is at 9,967 yards, and Josh Allen is at 13,000 yards. So he's thrown for a little bit more yardage than which is kind of actually a little bit surprising. Yeah. He's played a few more games, 58 games for Josh Allen, and I'm looking here, 49 games for Lamar Jackson. So, look, I don't know how you say it's not close, because those numbers to me are close. And then you look at the completion percentage, 64% completion percentage for Lamar Jackson, 62% completion percentage for Josh Allen. So to say it's not close, I think is you're not being honest with yourself. I think you're using the eye test, and I think that you look at what you're doing with the eyes and what you see out of Josh Allen and what you see out of Lamar Jackson, and it really just sways on your opinion of which one you like and which one you don't like. I think that they are a very close quarterback. I think they are very close in stats. I think it's a very good argument to have, whether or not you would go with Josh Allen moving forward or Lamar Jackson. Do I say if I want a guy for the next 5 years, or do I say I want a guy for the next 15 years? If I want a guy for 15 years, that's Josh Allen. If I want a guy for the next 5 years, it's Lamar Jackson.
So with that statement that you said, wouldn't Josh Allen then in theory be a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson, Combs?
Longevity wise, maybe, because they're two totally different style quarterbacks. So I think longevity wise, same reason why, Tom Brady is able to have a, 20 plus year career, but guys like, Michael Vick, who obviously lost a lot of time with the prison time, but, you're going to get hurt a lot more when you're a Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick type quarterback. And so you see guys like that get injured a little bit more. Teddy Bridgewater, who was a very mobile quarterback when he was with Minnesota until he got hurt. Then you look at guys, like Justin Fields. I feel like Justin Fields can be that hybrid quarterback that might be able to get you 15 years, but at the same time, if he doesn't learn to protect his body and still would rather run than pass, you're going to have a lot of issues there. So it really just depends on the quarterback. I'm not going to say that. So if you're going to ask me, who would you rather have, and I'm going to keep Tom Brady out of this, but would you rather have 5 years of, let's go, I'm trying to think of a middle of the road quarterback. Would you rather have 5 years of Eli Manning or at his peak, or would you rather have 5 years of Michael Vick at his peak?
Well, I would pick Eli Manning because he has Super Bowls and Michael Vick don't.
Well, take the Super Bowls out of it. Michael Vick never got to a Super Bowl. He played for the Atlanta Falcons, and they weren't a very good organization back then.
They were pretty good, man. They had that with the DMV or whatever they had.
They were not that good. When Michael Vick was there, they were not that good. They had Michael Vick. That was it. And Michael Vick was the reason they were good, because Michael Vick made people look stupid on the football field.
Okay. Well, true, but also Eli Manning made a lot of people look stupid too. So, but
he just made Patriots fans look stupid in 2 Super Bowls. That's
right.
all.
So
which I love him for.
Before we get into some Tampa Bay talk and Tom Brady talk, let's address a few of these comments from Alpha Rob. Alpha Rob says Jackson is faster running, and Jackson started on a better team. Allen started on a rebuild team. That is 100% true there. So the Bills sucked when Josh Allen was there, and the Ravens pretty much had to plug and play a quarterback.
Well, how good are the Bills right now?
They're 8-5 or 8-6. I mean, they're still a playoff bound team. They're still a pretty good team. They're just in a bad slump right now, just like the Ravens.
So they're just in a bad slump right now. But they are a team that is 8-6. And what are the Ravens right now?
I believe they're 8-6 as well.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, they're both on pretty good teams now, right? They're both on pretty good teams. So you take what's going on right now.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason why he was saying that is why Josh Allen's stats aren't quite as good as Lamar's is because he was on a crap team his first year. Lamar Jackson.
Do we just want to take this year's stats into account? We could take that. I mean, we could take that, but then you're still not going to win your argument. You're still going to be in the same.
You are throwing stats out there when you have a segment yourself called Combs eye test. You have to use the eye test.
Right. And I'm saying you can look at the eye test all you want. And you can say that's where the eye test comes in. And you like Allen more than you like, Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying I like either one of them better. I'm just saying that they are comparable quarterbacks. And then when you can say, oh, well, this year or that year, you can throw out there and you can say, okay, so let's look at the stats for this year. Because I had no clue what they are. I didn't look at them for just this season. So you got 65% completion percentage for Josh Allen. You've got a 64 completion percent for Lamar Jackson. You got 2,882 yards for Lamar Jackson. You've got 3,734 yards for Josh Allen. 31-12 for touchdown to interception ratio for Allen, and 16-13 for Lamar Jackson. So this year, sure, maybe Josh Allen is the better pick this season. Okay. But I mean, again, you go by the stats, you go by what there is, you go by what's out there, and then your eye test tells you which one you like better. For me, I think that they are comparable quarterbacks over their careers, and I think that they are comparable quarterbacks this season. I would love to see what a guy like Lamar Jackson could do with a Stephon Diggs and with a Dawson Knox and with an offensive line in front of him.
He will overthrow them just like he does Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews. And yeah,
I don't think he overthrows Mark Andrews, but he does overthrow Hollywood Brown quite a bit. I just don't think Hollywood Brown's fast enough to get there.
He's the fastest guy on the field, what the commentators say. But that's why you guys should listen to our live shows over on Man Hour.
You want to listen to what the commentators say. The NFL hires morons.
All right. Speaking of morons here, Tom Brady is a moron, Combsy. Tom Brady is a moron. I'm just going to throw that out there. But, guys, the Saints beat the Bucs last night. But the biggest news is that Tom Brady was shut out for the first time since Nick Saban was the NFL coach. I believe it was 23, right, Combs? Has Tom Brady finally found the cliff, Combs?
This is maybe one of the shortest arguments we're ever going to have. No, he has not found the cliff. Tom Brady is still the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. He's going to go into the phone booth this week. He's going to tear off the suit. He's going to come back out in the cape, and he's going to throw for 5 touchdowns next week. And everybody's going to be like, "Oh, okay, there he is."
You can say that Tom Brady's going to go into it, but the reason why the Bucs won the Super Bowl last year wasn't because of Tom Brady. Or let me rephrase that. It wasn't all because of Tom Brady. It was because they had Antonio Brown, they had Mike Evans, they had Godwin. Playoff Lenny went off. The defense was lights out, right? But guess what? They are riddled with injuries right now. Godwin is out for the year with a torn ACL. Mike Evans is out with a hamstring, I think it is. Playoff Lenny is out with a hamstring. Antonio Brown is still dealing with that whole fake COVID card thing. And the defense, who even knows who's playing for the defense right now? Nobody. So, yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 10-4, and they are first in the NFC South right now. Yes, still. Yes, I get all that. But with all that being said, they are a first-round exit, Combs. Why? Because Tom Brady,
freaking mind.
Because Tom Brady has found that edge. That Tom Brady has been tiptoeing up to the cliff for many, many years, and now his acupuncture, his hair transplant, his plastic surgery has all caught up to him, and yes, they have a last 3 easy games. They're probably going to go 13-4. They play the Panthers, Jets, and Panthers. All very winnable games. Might even get a first round bye. Sure. But with all that being said, Tom Brady's done. Tom Brady is done, Combs. I don't care if he has a undefeated record in the playoffs when he throws 3+ interceptions. I don't care. Without all those weapons that he had for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're a first-round exit, Combs. They are a first-round exit.
Tom Brady has found the cliff.
No.
Michael Buckheister.
Tom Brady is on the cliff with 1 foot over.
Okay. So the guy that has found the cliff, and he's on the cliff, on the edge with 1 foot over, is the same quarterback that is leading the freaking NFL in passing. The same quarterback that has more passing yards than any quarterback in the game right now. The same quarterback that has more completions than any quarterback in the game right now. The same quarterback that has more touchdowns than anybody in the game right now. The same quarterback that has the third best quarterback rating in the game right now is a guy who has found the cliff.
Yeah,
and with 1 foot over.
This is also
you sound ridiculous.
Do I? This is
yes!
also the only quarterback that has played every game this year.
There is no. How can you even start? Because he had one bad game where he got shut out for the first time since 2006 against a team that, quite frankly, has just had his number in the regular season over the last 2 seasons. A team that has just found a way to beat him in the regular season over the last 2 seasons. They didn't find a way to beat him in the playoffs last year when he waxed the floor with them.
Right. That was because Drew Brees was done and Winston wasn't their quarterback, though, right?
Winston's not their quarterback now.
But they do have a great quarterback in Taysom Hill. Speaking of which, how's that last dab challenge coming along? I'm asking for a friend.
What do you mean? How's it coming along? One more win from the New Orleans Saints, and I win.
Oh, and you win?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you lost if Winston did only if he had a losing record or something. I can't remember.
No. It was if he didn't play half the games, then it was null and void. But I opted to keep it going.
Oh, okay. Well, so
one more Saints win in the next 3 weeks, and Torrey has to do the last dab.
So let me ask you this question. Let me bring up my notes here. I'm totally off script here. I'm so crazy here. Do the New Orleans Saints make the playoffs after sweeping the Bucs this year, Combs?
That's a tough one. I'm still trying to gather my emotions after you saying that Tom Brady is a foot over the cliff. Jesus Christ. Max Kellerman all over again.
Nah.
I think they do make the playoffs, and it's because of their schedule. They've got the Dolphins, Panthers, and Falcons left. All 3 are winnable. Good look. The Dolphins are hot right now, though. I mean, the Dolphins have been on a roll. But I just think that New Orleans defense is the difference. They seem to find a way, and I don't know how they keep winning with Taysom Hill, but they just seem to keep finding a way. They scored, what was it, 9 points yesterday?
Yeah. 9-0 is the final score.
9 freaking points, and they found a way to win. It's crazy to me. Also, I have Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski on my fantasy team, and last week, I was a number 1 seed heading into the playoffs, and that happened. So yeah, so now I'm the number 1 seed who is going to be sitting at home in round 2. But look, I think that the Saints will make the playoffs. I think that, and which is scary for the Bucs, because if they hold on to the 1 seed, the Saints will be the 7 seed, and they'll have to play the Saints in the first round, or in the
second
right
round.
first. Yeah. Who is it?
So
first round gets a first.
Yeah. So the first overall seed gets the bye. So as the NFC playoff picture looks right now, the Packers are the number 1 seed with 11-3, and you have the Cowboys at 2 at 10-4. The Buccaneers are 10-4 at 3. Arizona Cardinals are sliding down. They're at number 4 at 10-4. The Rams are at 5th seed at 9-4. 49ers are 8-6 at the 16th, and the 7th seed right now are the New Orleans Saints at 7-7.
So yeah, they wouldn't have to play. Tampa Bay wouldn't have to play New Orleans right now.
Yeah, they would have,
in the first round. So.
Yeah, the Saints would play the Cowboys. Yep.
I think the Saints will make the playoffs. Their schedule coming down the stretch is kind of weak. The Buccaneers schedule coming down the stretch this week. I think they're going to finish the season at 13-4 as well. So they might even be able to climb back up if the Packers or the who's the number 1 seed? You got the Packers are at
Packers at number
2.
1.
Oh, Packers are at
11-3.
number 1.
Yep.
Who's at number 2?
It is the Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys. Okay. So the Cowboys, which they do have to play the Cardinals, still.
Easy dub.
So if you stop it. So if you get if the Cowboys and the Packers, you can find your way back up to the number 1 seed, get a bye week. If you have to go through Tampa, you're in trouble. I never bet against Tom Brady, period, let alone in the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, look, the Saints are one of those teams where their schedule helps them. They control their own destiny right now. Win out and you're in.
Yeah,
I think they will.
Yeah, so like looking at the rest of the NFC picture, you do have a lot of 6 and 7 teams: the Washington football team, Vikings, Eagles, and then you have the Falcons at 6 wins, Seahawks at 5 wins, Panthers at 5 wins, Bears at 4 wins, and the Giants at 4 wins. Still all have possibilities to get into the playoffs, which is weird. A 4-win Giants team could sneak their way into the playoffs somehow, some way. But like everything that you said, the Saints do control their destiny right now. They do play a very hot Miami Dolphins team. They have won 7 in a row. We will talk more about them coming up hour number 2. And then the Panthers team that's pretty much has checked in for the year. Cam Newton is not back. He's absolutely horrible. And then they play a Falcons team that would love to play spoiler. So really all they have to do is probably win at least one of their last 3, and I think they're probably in the playoffs. So with that being said, yes, I do think the Saints make the playoffs. Now, do they make some noise in the playoffs? It all depends who they play first round. If they play the Cowboys like they're projected to play right now, absolutely not. The Cowboys will flex on them, and they will dominate them like they did. I believe it was a Monday night game that they played, right? Or was that a Sunday night game? I can't remember. But either way, like when the Cowboys went into New Orleans and just beat down the Saints 27-17. And so, but if the Saints were to play a team like the Buccaneers, I think they can beat the Buccaneers. I think they can beat the Cardinals. Hell, I think they can even beat the Green Bay Packers if the Packers were to slide down to that 2 or 3 seed. So really, as a Saints fan, which I'm not, but if I was, I want to be just good enough to make it into the playoffs and be that 7 seed and play a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first round, just because the pressure is all on them. The pressure is all on Tom Brady, like at that point. So, Combs, on the flip side of that coin, do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously I think we are all in agreement that they're going to make the playoffs, but do they win the AF or the NFC South to get a top seed home game?
The Saints do. God, that's a tough one. I don't think the Saints are going to win the NFC South. I mean, in order to win the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to lose out, and the New Orleans Saints have to win out. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' remaining schedule is the Panthers, Jets, and Panthers. They're not losing out. So they're not winning the NFC South. They're not getting a home game. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are finishing the season 13-4.
So how far do you have the Bucs going in to do the playoffs?
I looked, if I had to pick right now, I would have them in the NFC title game with the Cardinals.
Versus the Cards, huh?
Yeah, and then as much as I say I don't bet against Tom Brady, I just think that Cardinals defense would eat that Tampa Bay offensive line alive.
We will see coming up here. But, guys, we are up against break number 2 up here on the Man Hour. But before we head out, let's go ahead and address some of these comments here, Combs. Alpha Rob says, did I miss Buck talking about the Cards? Not yet. We will be talking about the cards here very momentarily coming up in hour number 2. They're Mr. Alpha Rob. And then Jacob, we have a new chatter over here. What's up, Jacob? He said he was going to bed, so good night to him. And him and Alpha Rob were kind of chatting back and forth in the comments there. So if you guys were interested in what they say, go ahead, scroll back up through the comments through there. But it looked like Jacob was a Bills fan as well. You guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but Alpha Rob says the refs gave the Bucs the win last week versus the Bills. What are your thoughts on that, Combs?
I think that refereeing around the league is terrible. And any week you can point to any win and say that the refs had a hand in how that was handled. You look at you could look at a lot of games, man. You could look at the Patriots game this past weekend. The refs, I mean, there were some atrocious calls down the stretch in the fourth quarter of that game that went against the Patriots, which is unusual to see, but I was happy to see. You can look at, the Bears got cost a game against the Steelers because of a ref on a mission. So there's a lot of games you can point to with refereeing that is suspect, but
As a wise coach once told me, Combs, never leave it in the referee's hands to decide whether you win or lose a game. If you do your job the first 3 quarters of the game, the fourth quarter should all be gravy, baby. So, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Hour number 2 coming up here on the Man Hour shortly after the break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Cards suck. This was not the song that I saved. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse along with Brandon Combs tonight. If you've missed any part of the show, be sure to hit us up on YouTube, youtube.com/Man Hour, as we do upload clips every 3 hours over there. So 5 a.m., 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 8 p.m., 11 p.m., 2 a.m., all East Coast time goes. So be sure to hit that bell icon, hit the subscribe button, and we will get you guys some clips and some good takes and all around good fun over there.
What is this music?
Dude, honestly, I don't know.
I expected you to come back on screen with like whips and chains and
right,
and
like, some wax on your body or something. I don't know, man. This is weird.
Yeah. Are you doing a magic trick right now?
Yeah. Here. I'm.
Look,
look,
David Blaine
hey,
or
Drew.
something.
Look, it's the Super Bowl champs, baby. The Dallas Cowboys right
Oh,
there.
jeez.
Wow. Sheesh. There we go. All right, guys. So hour number 2 is upon us right here in the man hour. And Drew says the Cowboys are lower than well crap. Come on.
Now the music makes sense.
Drew, why are the Cowboys lower than well crap? Is it because they're going to win the NFC East? They are going to be
Fuck, I thought you only had 2 teams. Didn't you tell me you only had 2 teams?
Yeah, the Cowboys and the Chiefs.
I thought you said the Packers and the Chiefs.
No, Packers is Cindy's team.
Oh,
Cindy's teams are the Packers and the Colts. So
okay. Pretty sure you said you had the Packers and the Chiefs.
I was definitely wearing
earlier
an
this
Aaron
weekend.
Rodgers jersey last night, though. So like it may be.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
And she was wearing
Yeah.
her Clay Matthews jersey. Alpha Rob says Buck is into BDSM. Absolutely 100% true.
Buck's into beating his meat to Cowboys hats.
Yeah, in Cowboys hats, so I let it run down my face so I can like.
Oh, God. All right. Demonetized.
Demonetized. All right, guys. So moving on here. Welcome to hour number 2 on the Man Hour. We weren't going to sprinkle this in tonight.
I just disliked our own show on YouTube for that.
Good. I mean, all rankings is good rankings. So speaking of rankings, guys, if you guys download the Good Pods app, you guys can find us over there, Man Hour Sports Talk. You can rate each episode. Give us 5 stars over there on Good Pods. Because, Combs, I believe right now we are currently ranked the number 4 sports podcast over there. We would like to be number 1. We definitely need you guys' help over there to get us to number 1. How do you get to number 1? Simply rank the episode, share it with a couple friends, get them to rank it, all the good stuff. But, Combs, let's go ahead and dive into some Arizona Cardinal talk, because that's what the people are here for. We give the people what they want each and every day over here at the Man Hour, every Sunday through Friday at 8 p.m. East Coast time. But as you guys know, the Arizona Cardinals got beat down by the Detroit Lions 30-12. This was the first team ever that has had 10-plus wins lose by double digits to a team that only had 1 win or less. So wrap that around your head, Cardinals fans. You guys are obviously pretty freaking terrible, a.k.a. Kyler Murray is a bust. I'm totally kidding on that, or am I? But Combs, you are a Chicago Bears guy. You are watching your Bears right now, and you've seen the Lions play many, many times over the years. Did the Arizona Cardinals just have a bad game, Combs, or are the Lions as good as I thought they were going to be?
Did you just call Kyler Murray a bust?
We'll find out.
Look, the Cardinals had a bye week, and instead they showed up to play a football game and lost. And it was one of those games where they felt like they were going to walk into the stadium, and the Lions were just not good enough to be on the field with them. And the Lions showed them differently. And, you know, you're without DeAndre Hopkins. You're without your number 1 wide receiver. Your running back is playing at 25%. He's been hurt all week, didn't practice all week. It's a bad loss. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, losing to the Lions is a really bad loss. I know in Buck's eyes, they're always going to be 11-7, but that's just not the case here. This is a bad loss. There's no excuses for it, even without DeAndre Hopkins, even with your running back playing at only 25%. You should have won this game by 3 touchdowns, and you didn't. So, no excuses there. We may be looking a little bit ahead to their final 3 games where they've got the Colts at home, then they got to go to Dallas and play the Cowboys, and then they play the Seahawks to end the season. Maybe a little bit of looking ahead, maybe a little bit of, looking past your opponent here. And, it's just a trap game for them, and they got trapped and they lost it.
Yeah. All right, Combs. Here's the real solution here. Yes, it may have been a trap game. Yes, they played that 1:00 kickoff time, had to travel from East Coast or from the West Coast to the East Coast, so it was like 9:00, like in their heads, and they forget to wake up right. I'll give them that one. But looking ahead, that's something you cannot do in the NFL, period. And as a great team says here, you can never look to the next week. You are always 0-0 going into the week. And that's why the Cardinals will not be a great team ever in the NFL, because of exactly what you said. They thought, oh, we can overlook the Detroit Lions and yada, 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 right? Guys, do you realize that they do play the Colts next? They do play the Cowboys, and they do play the Seahawks. They could easily lose 5 games in a row to end the season, Combs. They could miss the playoffs if they lose these next 3 games. Can people wrap their heads around that? This was the number 1 power ranked team. This was a number 1 seed in the NFC. When they lose to the Colts this Christmas Day, 8:15 kickoff here. Granted, it is in Indy, so they might have their minds right because they can wake up at 3:00, right, and still be and still play. They're going to lose to the Colts. They're going to lose to the Cowboys, Combs, as well. And the Seahawks would love to play spoiler. Hell, the Seahawks are still in the playoff hunt. If the Seahawks have some things go their way and they beat the Cardinals to end the season, hell, the Seahawks are in the playoffs. So that Week 18 game is going to be a big, big game, guys. The Arizona Cardinals are going to miss the playoffs. The Arizona Cardinals are going to lose 5 games in a row to end the season. Cliff Kingsbury might be out at Arizona. There are other places that would really love his services, but guys, face it. The Arizona Cardinals cracks have been showing for several weeks. When we had Torrey Anderson on, these cracks were showing, and now they are widening. You can blame it on all you want. You can blame it on, Hopkins hurt or J.J. Watt's out. Every team is riddled with injuries right now. It's a second half, or it's the last 3 quarters of the NFL season. Everybody's hurt. Get over it. The Cards suck. They're going to miss the playoffs, Combs. And Kyler Murray won't last 3 more years in the NFL.
Buck, have you ever seen the Jim Carrey version of The Grinch?
Love it.
Remember when he's yelling down in the cave that keeps repeating itself and he thinks he's smart, so he yells down and he says, "I'm an idiot." And then the cave yells back, "You're an idiot."
Yeah.
Well, you're an idiot. Because
what?
The Arizona Cardinals are still one of the best teams in the NFL. Cliff Kingsbury is a coach that is right now probably 1 or 2 in the Coach of the Year voting.
No way. No freaking way.
You are out of your damn mind. This team is going to the playoffs. This team is probably going to beat the Colts this weekend. They might even beat the Cowboys in Dallas, and then end the season with a win and end up 13-4, heading into the playoffs as a 2 or 3 seed. Don't need to be a 1 seed. They play better on the road anyway. They're 7-1 on the road, 3-3 at home. They play better on the road. It's okay for them to be on the road. So this team is going to be just fine. And you're an idiot.
Okay, so you are saying that they are going to finish 13-3 on the season, right?
13-4.
Okay, sorry. So if they get their 13 wins, Combs, that means they will host a home playoff game. They'll probably be 2nd seed, maybe even 1st seed, but they will host a playoff game for sure. 1, if not 2, if they win their first game, they are better on the road.
It depends, because right now, if the Dallas Cowboys, well, the Cardinals and the Cowboys both can't win out. So if you look at, let's see, what are the 3 teams that are above them? You got the Buccaneers, the Packers, and the Buccaneers, the Packers, and the Cowboys are ahead of them. And so you can't say that there'll be a 1 seed or a 2 seed, because if the Packers and the Bucks both win out, then the Cardinals are the 3 seed. And it just depends on positioning and where they go. But this team, this defense is good enough to beat anybody. This offense is good enough to score with anybody. And when they are fully healthy, and hopefully they'll be fully healthy come playoff time, Hopefully, COVID doesn't run rampant through the playoffs, because that would really suck for some teams. This Arizona Cardinals team is the best team in the NFC when they are fully healthy, and they've shown it all year long.
See, and that's and we all know COVID will be over come January 16th. Let's just be honest; it will no longer be a thing in the NFL. But with that being said, how can you say that the Arizona Cardinals are the best team in the NFC when they've lost to several NFC teams? They've lost to the Lions, they've lost to the Rams, they've lost to the Packers, all NFC teams. If the playoffs were to start right now, it is Cardinals versus Rams in the first round, and the Cardinals are at home. I'm taking the Rams 100%, because the Rams will go into Sun Devil Days Stadium. I don't even know what the stadium is called now, but let's call it Old Sun Devil Stadium, and the Rams will whoop that ass. Let's just be flat and honest, whether there's COVID rampant or not. The Rams are better than the Cardinals 100%, Combs. And to answer Alpha Rob's question, the Colts game is at Arizona, so they're playing. So the Colts will be on the road, traveling to Arizona. So that even gives the Colts even a more advantage in that game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that the Colts have much of an advantage over the Arizona Cardinals. I actually think that I think the Colts are probably one of the best teams in the AFC as well. I think they got off to a rough start. I think they dealt with some injuries early, and I think that they're finally healthy and they're finally showing how good they are as well. So I don't think that they're better than the Arizona Cardinals, but I think they could be just as good as the Arizona Cardinals. I just trust Kyler Murray a little bit more come crunch time than I trust Carson Wentz.
I'll give you that one.
Or not Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I don't see it. I don't see, where you can say that the Colts have a definitive edge over the Cardinals. What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Have you seen how good the Cardinals' run game has been this year?
Have you seen Jonathan Taylor, MVP candidate?
I don't disagree with you, but I don't think they have a clear edge in that category at all. I think James Conner is having a phenomenal season. I think that
who's their backup?
His name escapes me right now, but their other running back, why I can't think of his name is beyond me. But
Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds. They are having a phenomenal running season. They catch the ball out of the backfield. They run the ball well. This team is so damn good.
So, Colts were actually my AFC team to make it to the Super Bowl this season. You had the Cardinals going to the Super Bowl from the NFC. Is this a possible Super Bowl matchup, Combs?
Yeah. Yeah, it is a possible Super Bowl matchup. Prior to the season, I had the Bills and Cardinals. The Bills need to turn it around. You don't want to talk about a team that's been struggling as of late, Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
But it's a real possibility that this is a Super Bowl matchup. There's so much parity in the NFL; it's so hard to tell.
Yeah, this is easily probably the most exciting NFL season that I can remember. Because this time last year, it was basically down to like 9 teams, right? This year, there are literally 13, 14 teams in the NFC that can still make the playoffs with some help, obviously. And I can wins. But is this a possible? Is the Arizona Cardinals and Colts a possible Super Bowl matchup? Absolutely not, because the Cardinals, like I said, they're not even going to make the playoffs. Like Alpha Rob said here in the chat here, the Cardinals have not been able to stop the run the last 3 or 4 weeks. Ever since J.J. Watt has gone down, people have been simply running to his side where his name's Chandler Jones isn't, right? So they're simply running to that side that has the backup in there, and they cannot stop the run. And what makes the Colts so successful, Combs, is keeping Carson Wentz under 30 pass attempts in a game, running the ball with Jonathan Taylor. Give him the ball, let him heat, let Carson Wentz pass when needed. So this is not a Super Bowl matchup at all because the Cardinals, just like what Alpha Rob said, the Cardinals cannot stop the run. And to get to the Super Bowl, you are going to have to stop the run because what teams run the ball really, really well in the playoffs? The 49ers, the Saints, the Cowboys. You can't beat those teams if you can't stop the runs, Combs. Sorry.
Look, if they get healthy, and if Corey Peters is healthy, and if Jordan Phillips is healthy, this team is dangerous, and this team is extremely dangerous. You get DeAndre Hopkins healthy, you get James Conner healthy. There is not a team in the NFC that is better than them on the field. To me, they are the favorite. If they are fully healthy, they are the favorite in every game they play, and that includes the Green Bay Packers. And I think that the Green Bay Packers are the second best team in the league. But to me, the Arizona Cardinals, and I said this preseason, so this isn't something new. This isn't me jumping on a bandwagon. This is something I've said all season long. This team is damn good. And this team is one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL. Is it debatable? Absolutely. Positive, especially after a loss to the Lions. It's a debatable subject. But to me, when fully healthy, this team is unstoppable.
Except for they were fully healthy versus the Green Bay Packers and still lost. So, but we digress from that, Combs. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here. We've talked enough Cardinals. We've talked enough Ravens. Combs, it is time to talk about your favorite team out there, the Green Bay Packers, of course. Obviously, guys, they beat the Baltimore Ravens.
I'll punch you in your mouth
on Sunday night. And we've been kind of going back and forth on this, and I was actually going to skip this topic because, Combs is a Packer hater. But Combs, after the performance of Aaron Rodgers last night on Sunday afternoon football, is Aaron Rodgers the MVP of the NFL?
Man, bleep Aaron Rodgers. That's what I say. Look, in all seriousness, though, this guy is just unreal. I mean, absolutely unreal right now. Is he the MVP? Yeah, it's between him and Tom Brady. We'll see how they finish out the season. They've got the Browns still to go. They got the Vikings. I mean, look, they gave up 30 points to the Bears. This is the only first time this season the Bears have scored 30 points. They escaped against the Rams with that 36-28 win. They barely beat the Vikings 34-31 the week before that. And that 31-30, I mean, they were gifted that victory yesterday against Baltimore. I don't know how you don't just kick that extra point and take that into overtime. I listened to the announcer say, "Oh, well, you don't want to face Aaron Rodgers in overtime." Well, you were down by 2 touchdowns when you faced Aaron Rodgers with 4 minutes to go in the game, and you came back and you stopped him on 2 damn drives, and you had all the damn momentum, and you're at home. What do you mean you don't want to play Aaron Rodgers in overtime? You absolutely want to play Aaron Rodgers in overtime. It's the stupidest thing I'd ever heard. But that's what they do. That's how they talk up their guy. And look, Aaron Rodgers is, I say it all the time, and I hate saying it, but he's one of the top 5 quarterback of all time, and he is an MVP candidate this year. It's him and Tom Brady, and you could probably even throw a guy like Jonathan Taylor in there as well. But I mean, let's just face it, quarterbacks win MVPs. And so it's either going to be Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady.
Yeah, so this is the year that I think the quarterback doesn't win the MVP, Combs, just because I feel like to win a MVP, you need to play a full season, right? And I believe Tom Brady is the only quarterback in the NFL that has played a full season. And maybe Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes definitely is an MVP candidate right now. He might turn it on the last 3 weeks of the season. I don't know, but I doubt it. But I'm looking at the defensive side of the ball. Aaron Donald has been a dominant force in the NFL for what, last 3 or 4 years. Easily the best NFL or the best defensive player in the NFL, if not the best player in the whole NFL. So I think we are going to see a defensive end win the MVP this year, Combs, and it is going to be up between Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. He's having a great season as well, or Aaron Donald, or maybe even Micah Parsons. It would not surprise me if a rookie wins the MVP either this year. But this year, I don't think a quarterback wins it. Give me defensive players. I mean, defense wins championships, and yes, I know Tom Brady is having another great season, right? Yes, I know Josh Allen is putting up big passing numbers. Jonathan Taylor's running the hell out of the ball. But man, how can we sleep on Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald year after year after year? It's time to give them some love, baby.
Yeah, look, quarterbacks win MVPs. It's a quarterback award. Right. It's something that they always do. I don't know why they do it all the time. I mean, look, quarterback's obviously one of the most important positions on the field, but to have a quarterback just win MVP all the time, say he's always the most valuable player on the field. I mean, tell me where the Colts are without Jonathan Taylor. Tell me where the Rams are without Aaron Donald. Tell me where the Cardinals are without DeAndre Hopkins. You know what I mean? So those are guys who all deserve consideration. Tell me where the Bengals are without Jamar Chase.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah,
So there's a lot of other candidates that aren't quarterbacks that are out there, but they just always seem to give it to a quarterback. So, it is what it is. But if I see Matt Nagy, I swear to God, if I see Matt Nagy call another freaking wildcat formation and give the ball to David Montgomery, I swear to you, I'm going to prison.
Well, that's why you should start Andy Dalton, because he is a top 10 quarterback in the league. But
go to bed, you're drunk.
Speaking of all those defensive players that I actually named, let's say, where are the Dallas Cowboys without Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons on their team?
Yeah.
So
Michael Parsons he's obviously the defensive rookie of the year. There's no unquestionable that he's defensive rookie of the year. But also on a side note to that, I mean, they've also got a cornerback that I think has probably just as much of a chance in Trayvon Diggs of winning an MVP. I mean, how many interceptions is he sitting at right now?
I believe it's 10, because they did give him the one in the end zone, so it should be 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got 10 interceptions. When was the last time a cornerback had 10 interceptions in a season?
How about this? When's the last time a team had 10 interceptions in the first 15 weeks of the season?
Yeah.
Right?
It's absolutely insane. So, I just I want to see as somebody other than a quarterback win the MVP. I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah. Only time will tell. MVP voting is here in about 3 or 4 weeks, so we will see where those MVP votes land. But Combs, let's go ahead and get into the last topic of the night here before we get into Would You Rather here after our next break here. But the Dallas Cowboys outlasted the New York Giants last night, moving to 10-4 on the season, sitting comfortably in that second seed into the playoffs. Obviously, the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East, but with the Cowboys defense stepping up the way they're stepping up and playing, are they Super Bowl favorite, Combs? Are we ready to put the Cowboys in that Super Bowl over the Cardinals, over the Bucks, over the Packers?
No. Look, the Bucks the Cowboys always find a way to lose it.
Right.
Always. And I would not bet on Dak over Tom Brady. I would not bet on Dak over even Kyler Murray right now. I would not bet on Dak over. God, there's probably about 6 quarterbacks in the NFC race that I wouldn't bet on Dak over. It's scary because I feel like Dak just disappears when it counts. I feel like Dak just does not have that it factor. And I like Dak. I really hope Dak does well. I mean, the Bears aren't in it, of course, so I have no rooting interest when it comes to the playoffs. I just want to see good football. But I'm not taking Dak over Aaron Rodgers. I'm not taking Dak over Tom Brady or Kyler Murray. I'm not taking him over Matt Stafford. I would like the Rams over the Dallas Cowboys as well. I might take him over Jimmy G. I'm definitely taking him over Taysom Hill. I'm definitely taking him over Heineke. So those are the other guys in there. But them other teams, man, regardless of what seed the Cowboys have, I like all of those teams over the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs.
Wow. So you like all those teams over the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, you definitely have a valid point and a valid expectation or explanation of why you would like those other teams over the Dallas Cowboys. But Combs, this is why the Dallas Cowboys are the favorites in the NFL, because they have a great two-headed monster in the running game. They have Zeke and Tony Pollard, which if Mike McCarthy's
got a one-headed monster in the running game, and that's Tony Pollard. They need to go away from Zeke and just give Tony Pollard 30 carries a game.
But either way, and you're exactly right. They need to run the ball 30 times a game. If Mike McCarthy keeps doing the way he's doing, and what we flash back 15 weeks in that Week 1 game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where Dak threw the ball like 60 times or something ridiculous, right? Ever since then, they have been a pretty well-balanced offense. And if the Cowboys keep being that well-balanced offense, keeping that defense off the field, keeping them fresh, so Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs and all those other guys can stay fresh and be the ball-hawking Cowboys that they are right now, they are the Super Bowl favorites, Combs. There is no team in the NFC that can beat the Dallas Cowboys when they're even playing at 85%. Just because, think about this, when you only have six possessions as a offense, and the Cowboys score on 5 of them, and the Cowboys defense only lets you score 3 of them, you are going to win a lot of ball games. That's just the way it is, and that is why the Dallas Cowboys are the favorites, is because of their running game right now with Zeke and Tony Pollard, and I can't remember the third string guy that they mix in there every now and then, but even him is getting some reps. Take the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands. Yes, he is going to get you some big plays. When who's the receiver that's out for COVID right now? Is that it's not CeeDee Lamb. But as soon as their whole receiving core comes back next week, we are going to see how great the Dallas Cowboys are, and they are Super Bowl favorites, Holmes. No question in my mind. So
you could talk about their run game all you want, but there's other teams. You could talk about the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Jones, or you're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a guy named Playoff Lenny, or you're talking about the Arizona Cardinals, who've got a great two-headed monster as well. I mean, you're talking about teams that are just as good as the Cowboys, but they've got one thing that the Cowboys don't have, which is a quarterback that can win in tough situations. And that's something that Dak, over the course of his career, has not shown that he can do.
Okay, so how many playoffs games has Kyler Murray won, Combs? 0.
I believe that answer is 0.
0. How many games has Dak Prescott won in the playoffs?
I believe that answer is 0 as well.
That is 0 as well. So how can you tell me that like you would take Kyler Murray over Dak when they both have 0 wins in the playoffs? Regular season is obviously a lot different than the playoffs. We see it with Lamar Jackson, with Josh Allen. Hell, I don't think, does Josh Allen even have a playoff win? I don't think he has a playoff win.
I think they won last season, didn't they?
Yeah, because they beat the Baltimore Ravens. You are right there. But how can you take Kyler over Dak in the playoffs when they both have 0 wins? Like, that doesn't make sense.
I said when it comes down to big moments, I just think that Dak Prescott just always finds a way to not shine when it comes to fourth quarter comebacks or game winning drives. I know he's led a few in his career, but he's also what is this? Kyler Murray's 3rd year in the league. I believe he's got 7 game winning drives, something like that, 7 or 8. I know Dak Prescott probably has about 10 to 12. somewhere around there. It might be even a little bit more. But I don't think that Dak Prescott over the course of his career, if I had to bet, if you're driving down the field with a 2-minute drive and you've got Dak Prescott, my bet is that he turns the ball over more than it is. I'm putting my money on the fact that he puts it in the end zone.
See, here's the issue that I have with that. What makes Kyler Murray so dynamic? So we are talking about Cowboys versus Cardinals. Yes, I know the game's next week, 6 days, 7 days away, pending COVID stuff. And this is Kyler Murray's second year, if I'm not mistaken, because he was drafted in 2019, so this is his third year, right? Second or third year. But
this is Kyler's fourth year.
How can he be drafted in 2019 and then this would be his second year, right? Third year.
Maybe it is his third year.
Third year. But it doesn't matter. But like either way, when the game is on the line, Kyler Murray uses his pure athletic ability to scramble and to make a play happen down the field. He is a run-first quarterback in the end. Dak Prescott isn't. Dak Prescott has a better receiving core than the Arizona Cardinals do. That's why I would take Dak Prescott over Kyler Murray in the playoffs, 100%. And then Drew says Dak chokes in the playoffs. Well, at least he makes the playoffs. Kyler Murray hasn't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right. This is Murray's third year in the league. I don't trust Dak when it comes down to it. I don't trust Dak in the playoffs. I don't trust Dak when it comes to a pressure situation. Again, my money when it comes to Dak, if you need a touchdown to win a game in the final 2 minutes of a game, my money is going on the fact that he probably makes a mistake and turns the ball over, closer to my money going on him scoring a touchdown. So that's why, for me, I would take those other guys ahead of Dak. Kyler Murray makes things happen. Kyler Murray makes things happen with his legs. Kyler Murray makes things happen with his arm. They've got a lot more explosive weapons than the Cowboys do. I just would not take him over any of those quarterbacks that I mentioned when it comes to playoff time.
Okay, well, the playoffs are coming up here in about 4 weeks, so only time will tell on that. But guys, we are up against the last break of the night. On the other side of the break, we have Would You Rather, which is brought to you by Skull Candy Headphones. Be sure to click the link on the description to save yourself 20%. There is still time to get some Christmas gifts, guys, if you are interested in getting some Skull Candy Headphones. They are the best things you'll put in your ears since sliced bread, as they say. But we'll be right back here.
Real quick, before we go to break, if you guys are watching Monday Night Football right now, don't be fooled by that crap that they had on TV right there. That is not deep dish pizza. That is not Chicago style pizza. There is not a deep dish pizza in the world that is worth a damn that stays straight like that when you pick it up. A deep dish pizza folds over because it's so heavy and there's so much cheese and sauce. There is no damn way. Whatever they have is hot garbage.
Well, and that's why New York style is better than New York style. Or than
Go
Chicago
to hell,
style.
Buck.
Oh, could go to break? You got it, dude. We'll be back.
I said go to hell.
numbers here.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs tonight. If you guys have missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and of course, iHeartRadio. But we would be most inclined to head over to Good Pod, download that application, search for Man Hour Sports Talk, and give us a rate on each and every episode that we do upload it at the end of this live feed. So it'll be over there probably by the time you wake up in the morning. Click on that, give us a 5-star rating, share it, bada bing, bada boom. We are #1 sports show out there. So, guys, help us out. We're sitting at #4 right now on Good Pods. So, get us to #1. Simply share it and rank it over at Good Pods. That is the Good Pods application you can download on Android and, of course, iOS devices. We have talked some Ravens. We've talked some Packers. We've talked a little bit about this, a little bit about that. But, Combs, it is time for one of my favorite segments out there besides What The, and ain't no time for that. Or Bucks Tots, or man, we have so many great segments out there, Combs. But this is another good one out there. This is Would You Rather, which is brought to you by Skull Candy Headphones, guys. Click on the link in the description below. Get you guys some last-second Christmas gifts there. Save yourself 20% when you use promo code MANHOUR at checkout. But Combs, tell people what Would You Rather is all about.
Everybody knows what Would You Rather is all about. Would you rather this or would you rather that? And you pick one and you go with it.
All right.
Pretty simple.
Let's get it started, Combs. Would you rather?
So, Buck, would you rather, and this is one that you posed, actually, would you rather have Tom Brady for a full career or Drew Brees for a full career?
Ooh. See, so this come up in pre-show because we were talking about how Drew Brees has never been shut out in his career, and Tom Brady has been shut out three times in his career. So, do I want Drew Brees on my fantasy team, Combs, or is it a real life team? Because fantasy, I'm taking Drew Brees every day of the week because he's guaranteed for his score almost every game. But for a real life, if they were on the same team, let's say they were both on the Detroit Lions, right? I'm taking Drew Brees just because Drew Brees has been on those crap teams. He was on a not very good San Diego Charger team. He was on a terrible New Orleans Saints team, and him and Sean Payton built it from the ground, and they went up. Tom Brady kind of always had this gift-wrapped team placed in front of him with a great coach, with a great defense. Drew Brees had to go through all those hard seasons, had to go through, losing 17 games or whatever it was, like in a row at some point. Give me Drew Brees over Tom Brady any day of the week, Combs, just because I think Drew Brees has more in him than Tom Brady. Tom Brady would have not survived in New Orleans like Drew Brees did.
I'm not even going to address the blasphemy that just came out of your mouth. I'm not even going to entertain it with a comeback. I'm not going to entertain this question. I think it is stupid. It's Tom Brady, and if you think anything else, you're a moron too. Moving on.
So, hang on. You are a stats guy, right? Doesn't Drew Brees have more touchdown passes than Tom Brady? Does he have a better completions percentage? Less interceptions?
I think he has a better completion percentage, but he doesn't have more touchdowns. Nobody's thrown more touchdowns in a career than Tom Brady.
Oh, because I think Tom Brady did pass him this season. You are correct on that. But
Tom Brady's the only quarterback to ever throw for 600 touchdowns. The only quarterback to ever throw for 600 touchdowns.
He's also the only quarterback that's only played for like 25 years too. So that's kind of a
That's
skewed
still 30
stat,
touchdowns a year, Buck.
That's kind of a
For
skewed
20 plus years.
That's a skewed stat when you play for 10 more years than everybody else.
Okay. Since he's played for 10 more years than anybody else, it's also a skewed stat that he's won 7 Super Bowls and 10 freaking Super Bowl appearances. 10 Super Bowl appearances, Buck. 10.
Tom Brady would be 0-10 if they played the Giants every Super Bowl. Moving on, next one.
I hate you.
Facts don't lie.
Moving on. God. I talked yesterday with Wayne G about how much I was enjoying the PNC Classic this weekend, watching Tiger Woods and his son play. And then John Daly and his son, went and set a course record and went 27 under par. So I ask you this. Would you rather be Tiger Woods' son or John Daly's son?
Oh, wow. So if you guys don't remember, John Daly is that whiskey drinking, cigar smoking, hit the ball 600 yards,
cigarette
right?
Smoking.
Yeah, cigarette smoking. Like he was all over the place. When he wasn't drunk, he was out banging hookers, right? So with that being said, when you are Tiger Woods' son, what is his Tiger Woods' son? It's Charlie, right? Like, let's say I am Charlie Woods. Yes, I have all the money in the world. Yes, I have all the teachers, and my dad was the greatest golfer ever, and I have all the abilities to become a great golfer. But at the same time, wouldn't that put unneeded expectation on you to consistently perform? Because we saw Tiger Woods at a young age, and then he got, he had that great success when he was 20s and early 30s, and then he got addicted to hookers and cocaine and all that other stuff, right? So at least John Daly has been open about his stuff, and I feel like there would be less pressure if I was John Daly's son, just because, what has John Daly really done in pro golf besides make his name for himself for crazy pants and being drunk on the course, right? So give me John Daly's son, just because I think there'd be less pressure to be the next Tiger Woods, like if that makes sense. So John Daly's son.
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me because look, John Daly's like what the American dream, the guy that can go out there, have that big old beer belly, grow a beard, have the mullet, while he's drinking the beer, got a freaking Marlboro hanging out of his mouth, and still driving the ball 350 yards and still winning tons of money playing golf. But Tiger Woods is the greatest of all time. Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer. Tiger Woods is the guy that eclipsed everything. And not to mention, when I turn 18, Tiger Woods is going to show me how to buy hookers. So give me Tiger Woods all day, man. We're going to the strip club when I'm 12. We're doing all sorts of things with the money we won. We're doing all sorts of things. I want to be Tiger Woods. I'm having way more fun being Tiger Woods' son. Blowing hookers, baby. Blowing hookers.
Wouldn't that be more pressure, though? Because what? How old is Charlie? He's probably, 10 years old or 11 years old right now? And he's already shooting.
Yeah, he's 12.
I mean, I saw a stat where he set a course record where he shot.
Hopefully Michelle's not watching right now.
When he shot 11 birdies in a row or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there is so much pressure to be him, though. I mean, because already at a young age, he's so much pressure to perform.
Is there really, though? Because does anybody really expect you to be the greatest of all time?
Yes, because of what you're doing right now, because of all of the extra abilities that you have versus everybody else. Because he
you don't
basically
have
has
extra abilities just because your dad was great. That doesn't give you extra abilities. It's not like you're a freaking superhero.
It gives you additional, traits to where you can get the best coaching, you can get the best clubs, you can get the best.
John Daly
golf.
can get the best coaching. His son plays for the Razorbacks right now. One of the best golf teams out there.
Let me ask you this: let's say you are the best golf coach out there, and you had to choose between Tiger Woods' son or John Daly's son. Which one are you going to choose? You're going to choose Tiger Woods' son.
John Daly's son, because Tiger Woods' son probably thinks he knows it all already because his dad has been teaching him his whole life, and he's the greatest golfer of all time.
Do you really think?
How the hell do you compete with that?
I know.
Yes, 110%.
Okay, we will agree to a disagree, but it'll be.
You think there's pressure to be Tiger Woods' son? How about the pressure to be the coach of Tiger Woods' son, who is expected to be the greatest of all time?
Yeah, I mean that. But on the coaching side aspect, you are in a win-win situation there. Just because if you if you put Charlie in this atmosphere of being the next Tiger Woods, even in the same conversation, you have done your job. If he doesn't succeed, you can say, "Oh, it's because Tiger Woods' son thinks he knows everything." You're in a win-win situation there.
Maybe.
Next one.
Moving on. Would you rather, and we're about to watch the college football playoffs next week, would you rather play for Alabama in the college football playoffs or a team with a real shot to beat Alabama in the college football playoffs?
Ooh. This is a good one, Collins, because we all know about SEC bias happening, so you can have a mediocre season if you're like Alabama and still make the playoffs. Now, with that being said, give me Alabama. I want to be Alabama 100%, just because the Alabama has been there, done that type of mentality. So if you're referring to a team like Cincinnati or Michigan, this is their first time ever in the playoffs. Alabama has been there, they've only missed the playoff one time. So you are expected to be there if you are Alabama. You are expected to do this, and this. And when you are expected to do things, you play a lot more lax. You play a lot more confident, right? Yes, Cincinnati might be the better team going into it's January 5th, isn't it? Like when they play, I can't remember for sure. But you are going to be so butthole tight there if you are Cincinnati that first half it is going to be rough. Give me Alabama because I'm going to make more money when I'm on Alabama anyways.
See, I'd rather play for a team that's going to beat Alabama, because if I'm on Cincinnati, my butthole's not tight at all. If I'm Cincinnati, I've got nothing to lose. Nobody expects me to win. Nobody expects me to win, and I know that nobody this season has beaten me. I know that I'm the best team going on the field. I haven't struggled against 3 unranked teams this year. I haven't lost a game this year. I would much rather be on a team that beats Alabama than to play for Alabama any day of the week. This is an easy one.
Well, that's because you're an Alabama hater. Let's say Cincinnati and Alabama played the same teams this season. Let's say they all played Cincinnati's schedule. I think Alabama is undefeated, just like Cincinnati. Now,
I think Alabama has 2 losses.
If they played Cincinnati's,
I think they
schedule
lose.
still?
They lose to Notre Dame.
Okay.
And I'd have to really look at Cincinnati's schedule past that, because it's the only team I know that they played.
Houston.
But I'd pick another team to go ahead and beat. Yeah, Houston could beat Alabama. Alabama's not that good this year.
They aren't, but they're still Alabama. Even so, there was a team in high school that was struggling this year. They started the season 0-3, right? Brand new head coach, brand new everything else. They come back and won the state championship, Combs, because they've been there, done that. The players know a winning atmosphere. It just, when you are used to winning like Alabama is, it's easy to win. Do you have an next
I hope
one?
Nick Saban catches COVID.
He will, but he will be eligible still. Don't you remember Georgia? So what was it last year? He got COVID like on Wednesday. They played Saturday, and allegedly he had 3 positive tests Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
All
right. So last one here. Watch the fight this weekend. Well, I didn't watch the fight. I heard about the fight, and then I watched the stupid replays where Tyron Woodley took a dive. But would you rather fight Jake Paul or fight Roger Goodell?
Oh, you know what, Combs? That is a great question. Because if I fight Jake Paul, and let's say I take the dive like everybody thinks that Tyron Woodley did.
Millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars, right? Roger Goodell, you would still get the fight purse, whatever it is, say it's $500,000 or lakh or so. But he wouldn't pay me to like take a fall. So that is a great question, because sometimes Roger Goodell does piss me off. If I were to beat Roger Goodell, do I get his job, Combs?
No.
No, okay. It's just a matter of beating him.
You know what? I'll tell you why in a little bit why he wouldn't get his job. Go ahead. Finish your take.
Give me Jake Paul because I can make more money off of it, whether I take a fall or not. Either way, I'm getting paid a lot of money. The Man Hour would get tons of publicity because Jake Paul's gonna be running his mouth, and those hosts from the Man Hour guys are right. Yeah, give me Jake Paul all day long. I'm thinking bigger picture. I'm trying to help you out, Combs.
You go ahead and think bigger picture. You go ahead and take your millions of dollars, because you know what? I'm going to whip Roger Goodell's ass up and down that ring all day long. And you know what? I'm not going to knock him out in the first round. Not going to knock him out in the second round. Not going to knock him out until the 12th round, because I'm a toy with him. I'm going to keep him upright, and I'm just going to beat the hell out of him and destroy him for 12 rounds before I finally knock his dumb ass out. Roger Goodell is a piece of crap, and I'm going to knock his ass out. Roger Goodell, anytime you want to go, you and me in the ring, bucko.
And Combs acts like he can actually go 12 rounds, let alone or go one round.
I would if Roger
12.
Goodell was in the room. Ask Michelle if I can go 12 rounds. She'll tell you.
12 seconds round. Good job there, boy.
I didn't say how long the rounds were going to be.
Combs, there's always a part on the show that kind of makes me kind of scratch my head, like, what is really going on, right? And sometimes it starts with your eye test. Give me your eye test tonight, Combsy.
You want the Combs eye test, but you got the Combs eye test. We were just talking about this moron Roger Goodell, right? We were just talking about how I would whoop his candy ass up and down the ring. And I would. But let's talk about some other stupid stuff that Roger Goodell has decided to do, right? So we've got teams playing tonight. You got the Bears and Vikings playing tonight. The Bears have 14 players on COVID list, missing their entire secondary. So the fact that they're only down by 7 at the half is absolutely amazing to me. But the Seattle Seahawks requested that they move their game next Sunday to a Monday or Tuesday game. And they were told no by the NFL. Regardless of how many COVID tests they have, they were told them and the Bears will be playing Sunday at 3 p.m. However, they move games this week from Sunday to Tuesday for the Rams, for the Washington football team, and the Eagles, who are all chasing playoff spots. So basically what Roger Goodell and the NFL are telling you is that as long as you're a playoff team, we'll give you a little bit of leeway and we'll move your games for COVID. But if you ain't got a chance in hell at making the playoffs, we don't care about your health. We don't care about your well-being. Get on the damn field and play. We don't care if you got to bring guys out of the stands. We don't care if you got to take Buck in this loud-ass music that he's playing in your ears. We don't care what you've got to do, but you are going to play on Sunday if you're not vying for a playoff spot. We don't care about player safety. We don't care about health. We are Roger Goodell, and we are the NFL. We don't care. Just like we didn't care when the Man Hour was crushing anything that we had going on Monday Night Football, so we had to suspend him for a week. Screw you, Roger Goodell. Go to hell.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for the Man Hour. Be sure to hit the After Hours show up if you are a member. We'll be starting that momentarily. But, guys, as always, thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. East Coast time. But, Combs, this is the holiday season, guys, so the next 2 weeks are going to be a little bit crazy. So bear with us as we have family Christmases. Combs is going on vacation. I'm going on vacation. Family's coming in. Family's going out. So bear with us, guys. If we aren't here, we will definitely make it up to you somehow, some way. But Man Hour Nation, Combsy, send us out.
Man Hour Nation, fuck Roger Goodell. Rise up.